All right, bud. Gentlemen,
Are you ready?
we're ready.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kevin, and my passion is fishing. As you can kind of tell, I got a couple rods here. I got some stuff set up for, not really demos, but just to kind of show you, because I got hooks on these. I forgot to pull those off, so I can't really let you guys see them or not. I don't want you getting poked, stabbed, poked. Not good for me. Alright, go ahead and switch it. Alright, so how I got started. So, I got started when I was about 5 years old. My first fish was a 14-inch striper. As you can see, this kind of striper. Call them jailbirds because they got the black and white stripes, and they will steal your bait. Guaranteed. You can't go striper fishing without getting your bait stolen. My first rod that I actually caught that on was the good old, I forgot to move that to the back, sorry. Little Zebco 202. A lot of people get like the documents and whatnot. They're pretty much the same kind of rods. Nothing too special about them. You know, just great little starter rod and great way to get out there and go fishing. Great for like little bluegill, maybe some smaller bass. Just great little bait catching rods for something bigger. Go ahead and switch them, Cedric. Alright, a couple things why I love fishing here real quick is it's a great way to just get out in the outdoors, kind of like what Tristan said. Great way to just enjoy what life has to offer. And, you know, if you're good at catching fish and you like the taste of it, you can go ahead and fix it up real nice. This is actually salmon here, one of my favorite fish to eat. You cook it right, real flaky, real mild fish flavor, don't really taste it. Maybe dash a little bit of wine in there. Y'all didn't hear that from me. It actually really kills the fish flavor, and so does lemon. Milan, I got you on the cooking section for this. Alright, but yeah, there's many different fish. Like you can use whitefish like bass, sturgeon, striper, make great fish tacos. Halibut, very mild, almost no flavor to it. Some good eating right there. I do not like trout. I do not like the bones. If somebody offers me trout, they got tiny bones. That's a no-go for me. Go ahead and switch with Suter. Alright, so it's kind of a video thing here. This is Kevin Van Dam. He is one of the best fishermen out there today. And no, I don't like him just because he's got my first name. Just have to throw that out there. One of the best fishermen. He's telling you kind of how to use a crankbait, which is, you know, kind of this style here. It's got the square bill. And there's two different kind of styles of it. You got the square bill, which doesn't go as deep, and then you got like the round bills, which, you know, this is the DD22. It goes down to about 22 feet of water. So it's going to get down there. Fun fact about the DD22, caught the state record in Texas. It was 18-pound largemouth bass. Caught on this style of lure. Go ahead and play, Mr. Suter. It's kind of long, 6 minutes. You can do like 4 or whatever. You can skip it. I think when I was watching it, you can skip it to about a minute or so is when he actually starts the demo.
I think you gotta fish a grub or a jig or something like that, but we'll start fishing out there. As soon as we get water that you can launch a boat in, even sometimes when the lake is still half frozen, I can go out there and I'll catch bass with hard baits like this. So, you know, a lot of guys think you gotta fish a grub or a jig or something like that, but most days, the best lure for me in these real cold spring scenarios are hard baits like this lipless crankbait. Now this is a straight king red eye shad. Tremendous early season lure. What I love about this is, you know, it's a typical lipless crankbait. It's got a lot of BBs in it, so it makes a lot of noise. But the real unique thing about these baits is the flat sides that they have. They have a real tight vibration to them. And there's something about cold water and crankbaits that have a real tight wobble that bass just can't stand. So, you know, with this, you can just cast it out there and start with a steady retrieve and just, just try to reel along. And a lot of times you can catch some fish by doing that. But what I found with this bait is it's the way that it falls that makes it really effective. So most people just fish them like this. They just kind of reel them in with a straight retrieve. If you can fish it around some grass or some vegetation, you hit some grass, you can kind of rip it free. A lot of times that'll trigger a strike. What I do with this is I have a whole system This is one of my own Tour Series crankbait rods that's a composite between glass and graphite. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. I get the sensitivity of graphite so I can feel if I've got any weeds or slime on the hooks, even the slightest little bit. With that graphite, it tells you everything that that bait's doing, even on a really long cast. And what the glass does is it gives me a nice soft action, and it makes the action of the rod a lot slower. What I mean by that is if I hit a stump or a rock with this bait, the rod unloads a lot slower than a graphite rod. A graphite rod, when you bend it and let the snap out of it, it immediately jumps back into that original space. And that doesn't allow that bait to really deflect off the cover as well. So that's why I like glass for crankbaits, is the way that slow action allows that bait to deflect if I'm fishing it around rocks or stumps or grass, things like that. The other thing by having a real long rod like this is it really gives me depth control. And what I want depth control for was this bait right here, it sinks, you know, so I want to get it down to where it's going to be down there near the bottom. And if I'm fishing a shallower flat, say it's 2, 3, 4 foot deep,
So yeah, this dude knows more about fishing than everyone in this room combined, okay? He's probably forgotten more about fishing than most of us will ever learn. I actually learned a lot out of watching that one video, to be honest. I thought I knew a lot about fishing, but then he goes into composite rods. I've never even heard of composite rods before. Yeah, I've heard about, you know, regular graphite rods and the fiberglass rods, and they got some of the more expensive, like cherry wood rods for the small ultralights, which are, take this rod and then make it even thinner, and it's just, it's ridiculous. But, that's also why he's one of the best, and that's where he is, and that's why I'm here, and not up there giving demos and whatnot. But yeah, there's also, like he was talking about, the lipless crankbaits. I actually forgot to bring one of those, more commonly known as like rattle traps, whatnot. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of those. But it's just designed to look like a little fish swimming through the water, make a lot of noise. Fish are kind of attracted to vibration, which is why a lot of baits, this one has a little bit in it, but it's not too much. But if you get something like the spinner baits, it's got different kinds of little blades on it. They make different amounts of noise. There's several variations to them. There's one like this where it's got the willow blade here, kind of long, thin, doesn't make a lot of noise, but it's also got the Colorado blade here, kind of like just a spoon. It just makes a lot of noise, a lot of water disturbance. And then you've got the ones where it has the double willow blade like this, where it's got the smaller one on top and of course the large one on the bottom. This one actually has like a little eye on it. I'm not sure if you guys in the back can see it. It's like right about there. This is like another fish swimming next to it. And then there's also the third variation where it's got the double Colorado blades, where it's got the two basically spoons on it. A lot of noise. You can actually feel it in the rod if you get one with a sensitive tip like this one. Wiggles a lot, and that's even under semi-tension from the line here. But depending on how sensitive your rod tip is, you can feel a lot that actually goes on with the bait. Well, shit. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like he was talking about having the sensitivity in the rods, and you can feel a lot in the bait. So I already knew that part of it. If we go ahead here, we got Kevin Van Dam, some of his achievements here. 3-time major fishing cup wins, and he's probably got a lot more actually coming up here. And then we have Bill Dance, one of my favorite TV show hosts. He had Bill Dance Outdoors running for forever. I think they still had it running up here a couple years. They're like still making episodes for it and whatnot. Does everything from saltwater, freshwater, streams, lakes, whatnot. And if you want to come back, we also have the video down there. It's kind of some bloopers from the show, if you want to come back to this later. Roland Martin, one of Bill Dance's fairly good friends. Those 3 powerhouse fishermen right there. If you got them in the lake, there'd be no fish left. That's how good they are. And then that's my video ad. Yeah, it's kind of janky. I'm sorry. It's cringy. Alright, here's 3 reasons why fishing is a good thing. One, gets you outdoors. Who doesn't love the outdoors? You know, camping, hunting, fishing, anything can be done outdoors. Two, can be done at just about any age. Got an old grandpa, 67 years old, still goes out and fishes. And three, it's a good way to get a meal. Alright, you hungry, you go outside, you catch yourself a fish, catch a clean cook. There you go. 3 reasons. Like I said, it was janky, it's cringy, I know. But here I got a couple different kind of lures for you to go over here. Of course, we've already seen the spinner baits, which are these ones. They come real bright and shiny sometimes. You also get them a lot with the white and the red stripe, just plain white. So many different combinations out here. Could have brought in my whole big bass box that I have everything in. It's too heavy to lug around. I got so much stuff in that. Then we've also had the regular, some of the hard baits, like we had the rattle traps, crankbaits. Let's see, we also had the poppers, which are surface top water, and when you jerk it, it makes a lot of popping sound and attracts the fish. I'm telling you what, the most rush you will ever get fishing is when the big old bass blows up on a top water bait. Most fun you'll ever have. See Eva over there nodding her head. She knows what I'm talking about. But then we go into some of the deeper baits. We have like jigs here. This is a 1/4 ounce jig, which basically means it has a weight up at the head here that weighs 1/4 ounce. And basically you just tie the line to it and you drop it down, let's say next to a dock or a tree stump in the water maybe. And you just bounce it up and down. You can also throw it out there and these things will go a mile if you're not careful. And you just bounce it along the bottom, and a lot of times when you pull it up, fish will hit it with that rapid movement, they'll react to it, and a lot of times you get bites. And then you also have little add-ons like these. They're basically little trailers that you can add on to the actual bait itself. Like I have a little blue one here. I don't know if you guys can see that well enough. Little blue one, it just kind of adds a little motion, a little vibration in the water. Just adds a little flair that might get more fish for you. Most of the time I don't run them with a trailer because they normally work fairly good without it, but every now and again I'll throw some on there just to see if it'll make a difference. But then we also have some of the other soft plastics like worms here. This one's actually been modified to be on a trailer that I used on this one for a while. Worms, a lot of them will come straight with your regular rubber worm kind of plastic, just straight, but a lot of times they'll add like a little tail onto it, a little extra vibration a lot of times. See, then we also have, lizards, like they got everything. They got plastic frogs, rubber frogs, everything from top water to kind of middle of the water, to even on the bottom. So yeah, one of my favorite soft plastic lures here is called the brush hog. I've thrown this stuff into so much nasty grass, you run it right by it, it almost never gets caught if you hook it right. But a lot of times when you hook your worms, you have to get one of these kind of, not really specialized, but I'm not sure if you guys can see it here, kind of put it on the background. I don't know if you guys can see that better. But it's got a little bump out here from the eye of the hook, which is where you tie your line through. So basically you can bury this through your lure like so, and then come out of it. So you kind of start with some like that, and then work it all the way down, and then you get a little bump out here, so kind of like something like that. I don't know if you guys can see that. If you guys can't in the back can't see it, just let me know. I'll walk close to y'all and you can see it. So now we got it like this. I've seen people run it like this and catch plenty of fish. Why, I don't know. You got that free hook there, it's gonna catch a lot of grass. So then what we do, what I like to do, and what a lot of other fishermen like to do, is we'll put it back through the body, so then you get some kind of like that. Okay? And then if you run it like that, that's pretty weed and grass resistant, just like that, just kind of laying close to it. When the fish comes by, it'll basically chomp down onto that, exposing the hook. And then when you jerk it, setting the hook, which is basically when you pull up on the rod really hard to catch it and whatnot. A lot of people don't know this, but I'm really going into detail here. It'll catch the fish. But what I like to do is I like to even go a little farther, and I'll even bury it kind of exaggerating this here, back into the bait. So it's completely flush and straight here. So yeah, that's what I like to do with my soft baits. And the whole key goal to this is to get it as straight as possible. Actually, did a pretty good job there. Get it as straight as possible and streamlined, so you don't have it all wacky and curled over. And so that way, it doesn't like twist in the water, then your line gets twisted. And it's really bad on rods like the spinning rods here, because then you'll get like a little loop in the reel here, and it'll just stick out. Alright, you gotta throw it, and like here, just from the line coming around the reel, hitting the little bump out in the line there. And so basically at that point, you're just peeling off line, as just waiting to get the tangle out, and then you reel it back up normally, and problem solved. Spinning rods, arguably the most popular. You can do just about anything with these. This is actually my trout rod, so I'm on a really light line, only about 4 pound test here. Really sensitive tip. I've always liked my rods with sensitive tips because I can feel a lot with it. You can feel a lot through the line. And if you're not really looking at it, it'll move a lot more when a fish will bite it. So if you're not looking that general direction, all of a sudden you see something kind of bouncing in the corner of your eye, you can look over and see you can buy some pole here. But this is more kind of one of my bait rods, so I'll put a little piece of bait at the end of it, and I'll throw it out, wait for a fish to bite, kind of set it and forget it kind of thing. But don't forget that you have bait at the end, because it might be stolen. You can reel it in every now and again. So you can't completely forget about it, but for the most part, it's pretty good. But my favorite here is my bass rod, and level line reels like this bait caster here, if you're not used to them, I do not recommend starting with these, because these will give you the most headache in the world. Because the spool here, it basically, when you push the button here, it goes to free spool, so I can pull that out as fast as I wanted to. But if I were to pull it out as fast as I wanted to, and then just didn't keep my thumb on it, the spool would keep spinning and spinning and spinning. Okay? It's what we call backlash. So you're just gonna get this whole bird's nest, this whole just nasty in the reel here. I've had to cut out many spools in line because I just could not get it untangled. But they are the most fun to use. And this one, I probably run much lighter than probably this good old worm here, with maybe 1/4 ounce piece of weight at the end of that. And this, you gotta run the heavier baits with it, and you gotta make sure that you keep your thumb with at least a little bit of pressure on it. And then as soon as the bait hits the water, put a little bit more pressure on it, because when the bait hits the water, it's gonna stop moving that as fast. So it's just gonna backlash and keep going. You don't want that to happen. That's why they are the most finicky, but they are also the most fun. Because you can just whip it out there, crank bait or spinner bait, even a buzz bait, and just fan cast everywhere. I'm a shore guy. I've fished from shore my entire life, except maybe a couple years when we had a boat. But that's just kind of a quick demo on different kind of rods. We also have different kind of reels for those rods. And really, I've seen people use spinning rods, which have the larger eyes here, the line guides here, for bait casting reels. I never understood why they did that. You don't need it. The bait casting rods have a much smaller, a little bit more compact line guides, less to get caught on when you're going through the bushes and whatnot. So, Mr. Sir, if you want to go back, we also have the bloopers video. I think some people get a kick out of it.